Hi everyone and Madam Hazika. We are from Group 2. We present about the particulate matter and we choose Pasir Gudang chemical toxic pollution as our case study. And then we will proceed to the first presentation.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Farashika binti Amjarani and my student ID is 12201041010. So I'm going to present the introduction part of our assignment. Firstly, I'm going to talk about the history part, which is Pasir Gudang is located in Mukim Plentong, Johor Bahru, the industrial area where heavy industry operate, such as shipbuilding, petrochemical manufacturing and other logistic and transportations. In the early hours 6 March 2019, the first incident was reported where tanker under an illegal tire recycling company dumped 20 to 40 tons of chemicals waste under the bridge in Kota Masai to Sungai Kim Kim in Pasir Gudang. So secondly, the source of the pollution. The cause of the pollution is methane, hydrogen, chloride, acrylonitrile, acrolein, benzene, saline, and metal percaptan. So, from this incident, there's 103 victims at the Pasir Gudang area. Complain that they having nausea, shortness of breath, and vomit. With 35 people also admit to hospital. However, at that time, doctors were still not sure what chemical had affected the patients and did not how to treat them. The last point, I'm gonna talk about the chemical structure and characteristic. So, from the literature research, there's seven chemical substances that relate to this incident, which is methane, hydrogen chloride, acrylonitrile, acrolein, benzene, saline, and metal percaptans. So all these chemicals are involved and produced from the industrial activities, such as in chemical production, plastic product industry, coal deposit during underground and surface mining, vehicle exhaust, oil and gas fields, coal-fired power plants, and so much more. Yeah, that's all from my part. Thank you.
My name is Adalbert and my student ID is 12201040068. Today I will be presenting my part, which is the case study of accident. I managed to do a case study of accident about the Pasir Gudang chemical toxic pollution disaster that happened in June 2019. It is a harsh reminder of the devastation that can follow from environmental neglect and the illegal dumping of hazardous chemicals. Pasir Gudang in Peninsular Malaysian southernmost region has long been associated with industrial development, particularly in the chemical and petrochemical sectors. The main causes of the Pasir Gudang chemical toxic pollution were attributed to several factors, including the illegal dumping of harmful chemicals into Sungai Kim Kim, a local river. Specifically used solvents including compounds such as methamphetamine. These toxic chemicals were disposed irresponsibly, eventually poisoning the river and triggering a disastrous series of events. Methamphetamine is a sulfur compound with a foul odor that is often employed as a warning odorant in natural gas, allowing people to identify gas leaks. It emits a pungent, rotten egg-like odor when released into the environment. When inhaled, this compound can be exceedingly hazardous in concentrated levels and cause a variety of health problems. The illegal dumping of methamphetamine and other chemicals into Sungai Kim Kim exposed this toxin to water. When dangerous substances like methamphetamine interact with water, many reactions occur, including the release of harmful vapors into the atmosphere. When these hazardous gases, particularly hydrogen sulfide, are inhaled, they cause a variety of health problems. The chemical also poisons the river water, rendering it unfit for human consumption. When the hazardous fumes were discharged into the air, residents and students near the river breathed them, causing immediate health effects such as nausea, vomiting, and breathing difficulties. The death of fish and other aquatic life in Sungai Kim Kim was one of the most apparent and immediate impacts of the disaster. Toxic chemicals poured into the river polluted the water and affecting aquatic organisms. Fish in particular were significantly impacted. This loss of aquatic life affected local fisheries as well as the overall health of the river's ecology. In addition to contaminating the water, the chemicals leach into the soil along the river banks and in the adjacent surroundings. This soil pollution produced a variety of consequences, including long-term damage on agricultural land and vegetation. On the contrary, the Malaysian government and local authorities initiated a comprehensive response to address the crisis, including conducting intensive safety audits and inspection of industrial establishments, public awareness programs to educate communities and workers about the potential risks associated with industrial activities, and closer collaboration with industrial stakeholders. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Praveen Siva and my student ID is 1210503392. Today I'll be talking about the root of toxicant exposure. Toxicant exposure that happened on the Sungai Kim Kim River was because of release of harmful chemicals into the river, as you can see from the pictures. As this caused a lot of environmental damage and health problem. Furthermore, the exposure part would be different depending on the individual activity. As for this case, there were three main routes of exposure. Firstly was inhalation, secondly was absorption, thirdly was ingestion. The contamination. The route of toxicant exposure was ingestion and absorption. This was because the water was contaminated by the poisonous chemicals and the residents used the water for their daily cycle of activity and has been exposed by the chemicals and toxicant substance in the river, as you can see from the pictures. Secondly was airborne exposure, and the route of toxicant entry was from inhalation. This is because some of the chemical that has been discharged in the river has been vaporized and become airborne. This was actually during a season where the weather was extremely hot, and this will cause the water from the river to become vaporized and become airborne. This caused a lot of the surrounding people near the river to be exposed by inhalation from the airborne chemicals, as you can see from the pictures. Next is soil contamination. The route of toxicant exposure entry was through ingestion. This is because the chemical waste has been affected the soil from the nearby region, especially the plants, and this caused a lot of the surrounding animal, such as cows and goats, that have eaten the grass and has been exposed by the chemicals. Occupational and public exposure. The worker at the industrial area nearby the river has been exposed from the harmful substance directly, and some of the public at the nearby area has been exposed from the cleaning operation to various entry route of exposure such as inhalation and absorption. That's all from my part. Thank you.
Guys, I am Nuraza Fazila binti Abdul Rahman. My student ID is 1220103992. So I'm gonna explain about the impact toward human health and environment. Particulate matter is a mixture of solid particles and liquid droplets suspended in air. These particles can vary in terms of size, composition, and origin. As we know, this particle has different size, ranging from coarse particles, which is PM10, to fine particles, which is PM2.5, and ultrafine particles, which is PM0.1. Not only that, the size of the particles is directly linked to their potential to cause health problems to a person. The first one is the human health effect. Breathing problems and inhalation of PM can cause respiratory problems such as asthma, bronchitis, and other chronic obstructive pulmonary disease (COPD). For example, metabolism has many chemicals metabolized or transformed through chemical reaction in the body. The next one is the cardiovascular effect. PM exposure has been linked to an increased risk of the heart attacks, stroke, and other cardiovascular disease. Fine particles can enter the bloodstream and cause inflammation and affect the heart and blood vessel. This ultimately causes cardiovascular and respiratory disease and cancer. In addition, premature death and long-term exposure to high level of PM have been associated with premature death, particularly from respiratory and cardiovascular disease. Moreover, the development of the lung is affected. Children exposed to high PM levels may experience impaired lung development, leading to long-term respiratory problems. There are several impacts on the environment. First of all is air pollution. This is because PM contribute to air pollution as well as reducing water quality and visibility. It can create haze and smoke and also affect the aesthetic value of the world environment. Secondly, climate change. This is because certain types of PM such as black carbon or soot can absorb sunlight and contribute to global warming. They can also affect cool formation and precipitation patterns. Thirdly, ecosystem damage. PM deposition can harm ecosystem by contaminating soil, water bodies, and vegetation. It can disrupt nutrient cycles, affect plant growth, and harm aquatic life. So, to reduce this effect, we need to reduce particulate matter emissions through various measures such as implementing stricter air quality regulation. This is to avoid harming human health and the environmental. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Olivia Herujirani and my student ID is 12201040112. I will explain about the conclusion. The chemicals involved in this case are extremely dangerous to humans, the environment, and animals. This matter needs to be taken seriously by every factory or industry in order to avoid chemical spreading outside the industrial area. The control measure that can be taken to prevent this dangerous thing from happening is using the hierarchy of control. For example, using PPE when handling the chemical substance and eliminate the high risk at workplace. Next, employers must be responsible for complying with the regulations set so that their industry does not dispose of chemical waste everywhere. In addition, there are several air pollution control systems that can be used to remove solid particulate material from gas. For example, electrostatic precipitators, wet scrubbers, and cyclones. Therefore, this method is very worthwhile to remove harmful particulate matter so that it does not cause harmful effect to living things. That's all from me. Thank you.
Baby, won't you come on?